qualifying is going to be very key on this track because it's going to be very difficult to pass on this track. So qualifying will be very, very key. And then with a lot of curbs, error-prone people like Lando Norris need to be very, very careful. There are so many curbs.
I think Norris is going to struggle on this track. He's not going to be able to push
There are so many curbs.
And we know that Verstappen is going to push it to the limit on this track.
Yeah.
This is actually the type of track Verstappen likes. He may win because this track doesn't have slow speed corners. It doesn't even have corners as far as I'm concerned.
It doesn't.
It has, the closest thing to a corner is that hairpin, the blue, where it goes from red to blue. Yeah. That's the closest thing. The rest of it is pretty straight.
I'm having an Italian Chianti, courtesy of, because it's Imola, so I'm having Chianti. Yeah.
Chianti. I'm American. I can't drink Chianti. I drink whiskey.
It's good.
Okay, so this track, more or less, didn't really have corners. It has chicanes. So even though this would tend to be a medium to high speed, it doesn't really have corners. It doesn't have slow. It has like,
but it has a lot of left right. It has a lot of left right.
So you have to have traction. You have to have traction, which is going to help McLaren. But the main thing is that McLaren has tires. This track doesn't have high drag. It has medium drag.
Yeah,
so my prediction is that McLaren will still do well on this because of the traction and the braking, which is going to put a lot of problems on braking with traction. And they have the best tires. But I do feel that Verstappen will do better on this than he did on Miami, but not as well as he did on Jeddah. And Jeddah and Suzuka have high-speed corners, which is what Verstappen. These don't have high-speed corners, but they have. It's still technical because of these sharp. How did you describe it again? Edges, right to left. That's very edgy. And Verstappen will like this because this will challenge him technically, even though it doesn't have high speed. So I'm going to predict that Verstappen will come second or third in this race, and probably Piastri first. And then George Russell will come fourth. What are your thoughts based on this track, Mr. Johnny? Yeah.
On this track,
it's a weird track. To look at it, it's very weird. Yeah. It doesn't have, it's not very curvy at all. It doesn't have a round.
I'm going to go straight up and say Leclerc is going to come third.
Yeah, because Leclerc likes this type of track. You're right.
Yeah, and he has experience, and this is like a Ferrari track. And Ferrari, they're doing some stuff to their stuff. I think they got the. Are we talking about the cooling system right already?
Yeah, they're adding rear brake. What do they call it? Falabi technical cut.
Brake duct is the rear brake duct. Yeah,
that might help. But the problem is that their problem is not their tire.
Yeah,
their problem is
the rear suspension is like
and they're unstable.
The rear suspension is unstable. Yeah,
but because this track doesn't have a lot of slow, it doesn't even have corners. It doesn't have a lot of corners, so they won't have to worry so much about rear instability on this track.
Yeah, so, but I heard that the grooves are quite that could damage your suspension. As in those. What do you call the curbs? Sorry, the curbs. Curb,
yeah.
Curbs are quite.
So I think Leclerc. I'm going to predict that Leclerc is going to come fifth, but you might be right. He might be a dark horse to come because he likes.
Then I would say Piastri first, and then Lando second, and then Verstappen fourth.
Yeah, so it's going to be close. And what about Russell? Russell. Who's coming third? Who's coming third?
I think it's going to be
third. Who?
Third, yeah. Okay, well, we'll see. But
who do you say is coming third? Johnny, who do you say is coming third?
Leclerc.
Yeah, you're right. So this track is enigmatic, to be honest with you. It's enigmatic. Yeah. But here's another key before we go to the next person. They're using the C456. They're using soft tires. These guys are thieves. They're using soft tires because they know McLaren has an advantage over tire deck. So the soft tires is going to hurt the rest of the team in relation to McLaren because McLaren is good. It's like I think FIA is trying to rig this thing to let McLaren win or to make it close for the rest of the year. Because I don't know why they're all of a sudden going to the softer range, but on high deck tracks they were using hard. Well, I guess they would use harder tires for high deck because this is low deck. But I think those soft tires is going to be a problem for Red Bull and the rest. What do you think, Falabi? Yeah.
Of course, because McLaren is head and shoulders above every other person when it comes to tire degradation. Everybody has found out what they're doing, but they're still studying how to replicate it. But if I look at this track is a typical old school track. And if you look at the geometry of modern F1 cars, they're slightly wider. So qualifying is going to be very key on this track because it's going to be very difficult to pass on this track. So qualifying will be very, very key. And then with a lot of curbs, error-prone people like Lando Norris need to be very, very careful. There are so many curbs.
I think Norris is going to struggle on this track. He's not going to be able to push
There's so many curbs.
And we know that Verstappen is going to push it to the limit on this track.
Yeah.
This is actually the type of track Verstappen likes.
I can see Verstappen coming like pole on this track for sure. I can be pole on this track.
Because this track doesn't have slow speed corners. It doesn't even have corners as far as I'm concerned.
It doesn't.
It has the closest thing to a corner is that hairpin, the blue, where it goes from red to blue.
Yeah.
That's the closest thing. The rest of it is pretty straight. So Verstappen, that's why I think Verstappen will come third. But this is good. I like this because this is a science. None of us is wrong on this. We reached high level with the show. So I follow me. What's your prediction? Top 5. Yeah.
Top 5. I think I'll pick Piastri. Piastri, Russell.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen. And Kimi Antonelli and Leclerc.
What about Norris?
Norris P5. It looks like he's going to mess up this. I don't know.
This track may be too edgy.
I see a safety car incident here.
Yeah, this track is too edgy, and I think right now Norris has lack of confidence.
I
think Norris is the king of slow speed track. So Kool-Aid's been waiting. Kool-Aid has been drinking his Chianti, waiting. When are these niggas gonna stop talking?
I actually think that Norris is either going to crash out or he's going to win this race.
It could be either with him. He's either or.
Yeah, he's going to either crash out or he's going to win. I think the Ferrari. I think whatever Hamilton does, he's going to do a personal best. He's going to get a best position. I don't know what that position is, but he's going to get his best performance in this race.
P6 is the best he can do.
Six.
He's going to get a very good.
These days, if Hamilton gets 6, he'll celebrate. I'm serious.
Of course.
Yeah, and I think Piastri and Verstappen are going to battle for second and third. I think Mercedes might struggle a bit on this track. I don't think they're going to do so great.
So who do you see winning? Leclerc?
I see the McLarens. I see McLarens winning. If Norris has an accident, Norris has an accident, then I see Piastri or Leclerc.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Afolabi's side. I think this track is too technical for Norris. Norris doesn't like pushing. I don't think he's gonna qualify first. And if he go ahead.
I mean, I suspect he won't finish it all. But if he does, I think he's going to win this race. I don't think he's going to finish slow. I think he's going to go for it, and he's either going to do a traditional Norris tap out, or he's going to fluke it. And he's gonna win it.
Hey, you guys, look at my hat. I didn't even realize I was wearing my hat like American sailor.
I think they call it what Norris is going for. What they call the Hail Mary, the do or die.
You know what happens with Hail Mary? It's either you hit the wall or you have the fastest time ever.
Oh yeah,
that's basically what's going to happen to Norris.
So
I think Piastri is going to do solid. Piastri is going to get a podium. I'm quite sure of that.
Yeah, of course, Piastri will come second, third. Sorry, Lorato, we know you're having technical difficulties. Any thoughts that you would have on we were talking about the track. That track has edges. Show the track to Lorato. Yeah.
Nepa is in South Africa.
Oh yeah, they have load shedding. So Lorato, that track doesn't even have corners. It just has edges. So I think Verstappen would like that. And there's not going to be tire drag because it doesn't have slow speed corners. It doesn't have any type of corners. It doesn't have high speed corners either. It's mostly edges and a hairpin. Did you put it on a Falabi? Yeah. Well, I'll show it to Lorato. This track, if you notice, Lorato, it doesn't really have any constant corners. It's just a bunch of left to right.
No curves. It's very sharp corners, chicanes.
So there's not going to be tire drag, but there will be problem with brakes because of traction. So that's still going to be a tire issue. It's going to give McLaren but Verstappen likes these types of tracks. He likes these types of tracks because it's still a technical track. It just doesn't really have corners. So what are your thoughts? How do you think this is going to play out based on this track? And also based on the fact they're going to be using the softest tires. So that's going to help McLaren too because they don't really have any tire drag at all. What do you think?
Yeah. I think then, I mean, the strategy thing is going to come into play.
Qualifying too. Yeah.
In terms of how teams manage strategies, and how they manage tire degradation, especially now that we know that they're competing with the new technology from McLaren. And we know all the other teams actually are like far behind, struggling with tires. So that's going to be the main challenge. And also, I suppose, I mean, it's largely a high speed track, which I think can be some kind of like an equalizer, because it doesn't seem like McLaren necessarily has a lot of
one lap now.
Yeah, you get like pure pace. So in terms of pace, if everyone else, like the Mercedes and Max.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Mercedes. Watch out for Mercedes because they have traction. Yeah,
they
have traction. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if the Ferraris are bringing any good upgrades.
They're bringing
for them to
testing their brake duct, the rear wing. They're trying to counter with.
Yeah. We'll see how that works out, because the Italian fans are going to be there expecting to see miracles, even though they can see that
red wine on Hamilton's
I think Hamilton might be focusing now. Maybe I don't know. He realizes that
next year.
Apparently, he's unfollowed everyone and his dog on Instagram.
Yeah, but then the next day he released a picture of him with his six-pack on Instagram. The next day, that guy is something else. I like Hamilton though. Finally, I feel sorry for, but he's a good driver. Because he's gone through some bullshit, man. He's gone through some shit this year, man. I feel bad.
Yeah, sure.
But I think Ferrari has to focus on next season. Yeah, so sorry about that. So we'll have to get back to Lorazzo maybe later on this week.